we need to talk about happiness, actual happiness. You know, like if you ask me how to answer your question, I think that we're in such a metrics-based world. How much money do you make? How many followers do you have? You know, everything's so mathed out in this tech world. This is why I'm advocating for the incredible, and I didn't invent it, I only followed the story once it happened. I think Instagram eliminating the like count in Australia and Canada really caught my attention because I think it's an unlock to creativity and happiness. You know.
Oh, so you're in favor of that?
I'm in massive favor of it.
Interesting, okay.
And it's really interesting. A lot of people are confused by that because I'm at the top of the sphere of it, and I'm like, that doesn't change my opinion of what brings value to people. I don't feel like it's detrimental to me. I feel like I think it actually fulfills my thesis, which is be creative, do what you want, be happy. So, you know, when I think about generational wealth or things of that nature, like the amount of trust fund babies and third generation wealthy kids that I know that are the most miserable people on earth is enormous. I actually think, I remember judging Bill Gates and Warren Buffett for giving away all their money because I came from nothing. And now I understand it way more. I actually think the great curse that most parents give is too much money to their kids. Perspective, you know, I think both my grandmothers always would talk about health. You know, my father lost his dad at 15, my mother lost her mom at 5, and I think that affected me quite a bit. I think I feared losing my parents quite a bit. I think a lot of my strengths and shortcomings actually are predicated on that. And I feel as though I to this day speak quite a bit actually now out loud about the gratitude I have if everybody I love when I wake up in the morning is alive, and then every business loss, every judgment casted on me by somebody important, every adversity, every minute, being late by 20 minutes right now, all those tiny things that a lot of people get stressed about, I'm just incapable of. Health over everything. And so I think that shapes my perspective to gratitude and happiness, which then fuels my energy to accomplish.
You know, I completely feel that. I mean, you know, for myself as well, going through that adversity on the entrepreneurial journey, you know, I recall like right before Muslim Girl got its first investor, I was having like this moment where I had used every last penny to my name on this venture. I could no longer afford rent. I was couch surfing, friends of a friend's places. You know, I had this one moment with myself that I recall when I was like in a dark basement with no electricity somewhere in Paterson, New Jersey.
Yep.
And I was like sleeping on a dirty ass futon. And I asked myself, you know, like, how much more can I take? You know, like, how much longer can I last? Going through all the adversity that you faced to get here, did you ever have a moment like that?
No, I didn't. I was too good at making money. You know, that's just, and even better at not spending it. You know, I'm so good like that. That's a talent of mine. And so, you know, I saved all my money. I didn't buy stuff. I built a huge baseball card collection. I sold it. I always had money because that is my talent, you know? And so, no, I did not. However, my version of that was more mental. I got really aggressively bullied by teachers and parents in my high school years because they probably saw a kind, talented kid who was failing so miserably in the way that they scored the world, which was school, that they really put a lot of pressure on me in their words, in a way that probably came from a good place in hindsight. But it put a lot of pressure on me mentally when everybody said you're gonna be a loser, you're wasting your talent, you could be doing so much more, you know.
It's right there.
It's right there. I mean, this is real life. You know, I tell stories. This is why I got there. I'm showing my report card right now. I think that when people hear I was a bad student, I don't think they understand how bad. My class rank was 243 out of 254. There was only 11 people that were worse in my high school class out of 254 people. And you know, obviously, I've had disproportionately more success than probably the combination of class, let alone individuals in it. And not in happiness, because so many of them are happy, thank God, but I knew what I was, and I knew what I was gonna accomplish. So listen, here's my true narrative that people are confused by. As a kid with no money, starting with lemonade, making $1, then $2, my parents never gave me money. My parents never gave me money. I never got $1 in allowance, right? My dad lent me $1,000 when I started my business to add to what I had. And then I paid it back within a week because it didn't even feel good. And I was like, fuck that. And so my parents never gave me money. And then I have money, 8,000, 10,000 bucks. And then I go into my dad's family business. And then I had my next adversity, which is from 22 to 34, I built an enormous business. I had no social life and I owned none of the business. And at 34 years old, I leave my family business to start VaynerMedia and I have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because not only did I build a huge business for my dad and my mom and my family, but I also underpaid myself to reinvest in the business. So I wasn't even compensated properly for my executive prowess. Some could say, well, I've built businesses for other companies. I'm like, cool, at least you got paid $400,000 a year, $800,000 a year when you took something from 3 to 65. I didn't get even that. I was treating it as if it was mine. But I used to resent my dad a little bit for that. I'm happy to admit that. But that's because it happened in 2011, 12, 13 when I was stuck in this startup world and I needed to remind myself that I was in a family business. And every family business of immigrants in America is the old man or the old woman owns it until they die and then they give it to the kid. So it wasn't that they were doing anything different than anybody else. It was that I was so special. And that's just the truth. Not a lot of kids go into the business, take control, and explode the fuck out of it. So, and then, by the way, and then my next adversity started. I started this business with my brother 50-50 when I had all the leverage, and then he left early, and I had to buy him out. And so I am a story at adversity when it comes to the financial part. But my brother gave me what I wanted: control and respect and acknowledgement that I was the alpha. An influencer person brings value to their audience, which creates a relationship with them predicated on value. Whether that value is they're so attractive that you want to look at a model, or they make you laugh, or they give you a mindset shift, or they give you a tactic on TikTok. I don't get to judge why somebody becomes influential. The audience gets to judge. That's fine. That's cool. That's whatever. I think what I think I do extremely well is I counterpoint my own points. I always say that I'm a contradiction. I believe influencers really matter. I was right. I was right 8 years ago when I was yelling about that. It's happened. People have amassed followers and people want to tap into that attention, right? At the same token, if you notice, once I establish that and it becomes acceptant, all of a sudden my message starts changing to the counter move of that, which is like, hey influencers, don't get too high in your own supply. Who the fuck are you? Treat people with kindness. This could go away. Make sure you start building your audience in other platforms. I'm constantly doing that. I'm right about trends, and then I start to help the people that have benefited or aspire to it to understand the counter issue of that trend. There is always a reaction to something that happens. And many things start pure and then get tainted with success. I would argue, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and it got into humility, and it's so interesting to me. I was gifted with it, that's all I can say. My parents instilled it, it was in my natural DNA. My bravado is only matched by my humility, and every day that I'm consciously aware of my influence, my scale, my notoriety growing, I subconsciously continue to triple down to make sure my humility is outpacing my growth.